Yeah, I came out here to this deeper water and I caught that last fish. A lot of times you'll have people, like, you'll get scared to fish out in this deeper water because they don't see visual structure. But when you have your fish finders and stuff working good, and not even knowing watching the fish find, just knowing the lake, if you know the lake really well, you can come out to this deeper water and catch a lot of fish that nobody fishes for. Biggest secret with Senko fishing is to leave slack in the line. If you don't have slack in the line, you might as well just put your rod down and go home, because you're not fishing the Senko the right way. When it has slack in the line, the Senko will fall when it flutters. If your line's tight and you have any tension on there, or if you're casting it and reeling it and casting it and reeling it, that ain't doing nothing. You gotta cast it, let the sag in the line, and let it sink on its own with no pressure of line. You want it to be slack so it could do what it on its own. If you have any tension on it, it's just gonna take away the action of that bait so much. You know what I mean? So you'll see people fishing Senkos. Oh yeah, I use Senkos today, you know, but they don't really fish them the right way. Actually, they really don't, you know. And then when fish bite them, they usually just pull them right out of their mouth, and they don't let them take it for a little bit, you know. You got to let them run with it. If it's a bass, he'll hold on to it and run with it, you know. But yeah, people they'll go cast like that, and then they'll just start reeling it right away. Like, that's not how you fish a Senko. That's totally wrong. If you watch the video on Yamamoto and the tips they give you and stuff, it'll tell you right on there, you know, to fish it with slack in line. See, when I have a slack like that, that's how you want to fish it. And then when you go to check it, you check your line once in a while, you pump it, and then when I go to fish it, let it sink back down, you'll see I have all that slack in my line. I never have tension on my Senko. Never. Unless I'm flipping it up on structure and I'm letting it fall, watching it sink, and then pulling it out of there after it's sinking. That's just structure fishing now. That's different, you know. But with this Senko like this, you let it sag in the line. You cast into the wind is a perfect scenario. And then you get that sag in the line, and the boat, you know, you can let the boat drag it over the area, or you can just fish it right over the area. You can, you know, hold the boat. Let's see how I got the slack like that, because it's not putting any tension to it. Any little bit of tension of line tension to that bait, it's just gonna come in like a straight, like a dart. It's not gonna wiggle at all or nothing. That's what I'm doing as I'm reeling them up. I'm reeling them up off the bottom like 5-6 feet when I'm going to check it. And then what I'm doing is, you know, when I'm pulling it up like that, it's coming up off the bottom, and then I'll let it sag back down, you know, sink back down with sag in the line, and then I'll pull back up, you know, and then it's coming back to the surface, and then it'll come back down with sag in the line. My worm's messed up when I casted it. It was all, I don't like that color, that one. You can fish right here off the bottom. You can see them. Two little arches right off the bottom. And just make yourself a good fisherman that way, and that's how I do it with this computer. I use it always use the computer for stuff. There should be a fish right off these chestnuts right here. Ah, that wind's picking up. A little largemouth. Like jigs, you want to work it. If you're not working your tip and you're just going like this and your rod's not moving, you might as well just go home, because, I mean, you're having fun because you're thinking you're catching fish, or you're going to catch fish, but the average fisherman, you know, usually just casts the rod out, and they don't put no motion to the rod. You want to give it a little action and stuff. But yeah, crankbait's the only thing you want to reel in constant. you know. Spinners, you know, trout spinners, spinner baits, stuff like that. You keep a constant move to it. When you're fishing worms and stuff like this, plastics and jigs, and you always let the fish come and take it. Don't expect it to like cast out and then reel it in like a spinner, like when you're fishing trout streams, because that's just, you want to be able to feel it. It's so much funner when you actually feel a fish take it. Like when I always tell you, oh, there's one, you know, and I get ready, I reel down and I give it to him. Well, that's that. I like that fishing. That's, to me, that's why I like to be a bass fisherman, because I know if I'm not a bass fisherman, I won't keep that skill sharpened up really good, like, you know. I gave it to him for a while. It must have been the smaller one. Couldn't tell. It was just running. As soon as it hit the water, it was like. I thought you were a bigger one. Oh, cute little guy. Yeah, I can't even catch up. I don't know what the heck just happened. I missed him. That was a good one too. Yeah, put us on the map. Come on, come back for it. See how I got the sag in that line? You always, because then it's not even sinking. Sometimes you'll be windy days like this, and if you don't have sag in the line, it's not even gonna sink. It's just gonna go with the boat on the surface. Let's see if there's some on this point. There's a good one. Oh. Look at him running. Jeez. Frisky little guy. He was running. Come here. Nice bass. That last fish we caught was a perfect scenario. You have this point here that comes way out off the bank. The wind's hitting it, coming down the lake. The fish were sitting right on the lily pads, right on the edge of it, and it was like 8 feet in front of the lily pads, and it drops off to about 11 and 12. But it's a perfect scenario. The fish was sitting right up under the lily pads, sitting out of that current from the wind and waiting for the bait to come past him, right where he should have been. With tackle that I'm using is the 4,000 reels, the Shimano, and I'm using 6-foot rods, just medium heavy, and 8-pound test on the spin rods. But the spin rod reels, you want to make sure your spools are always filled up, so you get your good gear ratio out of your reels, and you have your fast reel retrieve that your reel should have. And when you have only a little bit of line on there, your gear ratio is changing a lot with your castability and also on your retrieve on after you hook a fish. So you want to stick with the bigger reels for bass fishing for that reason. There's one. Little guy. Nice largemouth. There's one. Little fish. Well, even though the temps were in the 90s today and the water was murky, we still caught a lot of fish today. I started off fishing Texas rig, switched to a light plastic weightless worm, and you know, hope you guys got a lot of tips off today's show. You know, keep your lines wet and good luck fishing next time you go out.